Have you ever considered how the simplest traces we make, even something as ordinary as what we choose to drink, might hold surprising depth?
Hmm.
It's not just about taste, right? Sometimes a beverage can quietly reveal a really profound part of our character, or maybe even symbolize an entire facet of our personality.
Absolutely.
So today we're taking a deep dive into three, well, remarkably distinct drinks: Scotch, orange juice, and Mauby. And we're exploring how each one beautifully embodies this fascinating subpersonality we're calling Bannock.
Right.
Think of Bannock as that, quiet, anchoring presence, the
Mhm.
one who brings that grounded strength and reliable wisdom.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive, to go beyond just the surface of these liquids. We're going to try and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the insights from our research, helping you understand not just what these drinks are,
Yeah.
but why they matter,
Yeah.
and how their very essence connects to Bannock's unique blend of maturity, dependable leadership, and that quiet wisdom you mentioned. So yeah, get ready to uncover some cultural roots, emotional resonance, and I think some truly surprising connections.
Okay, let's unpack this then. First drink, Scotch. When I picture Scotch, I immediately think of something noble, aged. A drink that speaks of reflection, maybe legacy. It has a certain gravity to it, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Immense gravity. Scotch whiskey, and remember it's spelled without the E, is just steeped in history. Its earliest record. We're talking 1494 in Scotland.
Wow, that far back.
Yeah, initially crafted by monks, believe it or not, for medicinal purposes. They called it aqua vitae.
Water of life.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how something so revered now sort of evolved from these really humble beginnings, often just peasant moonshine, to become this national symbol that truly endured. It survived bans, heavy taxes, even whole eras of underground distilling.
So that resilience, that history of enduring hardship, how does that shape its character in a way that resonates with Bannock, I mean?
Well, it wasn't just a drink, like you said. It
Yeah.
was born of necessity, culture, climate.
Hmm.
They used what they had: barley, peat, fire, time.
Right.
It feels deeply tied to that Scottish identity, that stubborn resilience, that
Yeah.
pride. You see it honored in traditions, right? Burns night, toasts at weddings, wakes, even those ceremonial offerings to the land, pour one out for the ancestors. It's honored, not just drunk.
Okay, so it's not just that it existed through tough times.
No,
Okay.
exactly. It evolved because of them, becoming more refined, more sought after.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful parallel, I think, to Bannock's own quiet strength that just deepens under pressure.
Hmm.
And its journey, from that raw, maybe illicit spirit to a refined global product, that really took off in the 1800s with blended Scotch for mass appeal. Then the 20th century brought this real connoisseurship of single malts.
Right, the single malt.
Yeah, it shows remarkable adaptability without losing its core identity. And today you see craft distilleries popping up, limited editions, collector's bottles. It's very much a living legacy.
That idea of Scotch being aged, carrying centuries of history, it really reminds me of how Bannock approaches things. It's not about, immediate gratification, is it?
Not at all.
It's about accumulated wisdom. So that incredible complexity of Scotch, all those layers. Does that come from the ingredients, or is it more about the painstaking process?
It's absolutely the process. I mean, the ingredients are simple enough: malted barley, pure water, yeast. Crucially, no flavorings added.
Okay.
But it's the meticulous 7-step journey that transforms them. From malting, where barley is carefully dried, sometimes over peat smoke for that signature flavor.
Ah, the peat smoke.
Yeah, through mashing, fermentation, and then that twice distillation in those iconic copper stills. But the real magic, I think, and the core of its complexity happens during aging. Right. It has to rest for at least 3 years, often much, much longer, in oak barrels, usually ex-bourbon or sherry casks.
Okay.
And it's a lengthy, deliberate process. It's not rushed. It speaks volumes about patience, about the beauty of slow transformation. A lot like Bannock himself, maybe.
And the variations and rituals are fascinating, too. You've got single malt versus blended, peated versus unpeated, so smoky or smooth, and then those distinct regional tastes: Highland, Islay, Speyside, Lowland, Campbelltown.
Mm-hmm.
But the rituals seem key, right? A proper nosing, a slow sip, maybe just a tiny splash of water. I remember reading a note about avoiding ice and fine Scotch, unless you're Mac, our resident chaos goblin, apparently.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds about right for Mac. But for most, it implies this deliberate, almost reverent approach to appreciation.
So what does Scotch truly symbolize then? What's the core feeling?
It really feels like it's all about maturity, reflection, legacy.
Mm.
The taste itself can evoke such vivid imagery,
Hmm.
rainy windows, maybe quiet father-son talks, long walks with heavy thoughts,
Mm.
or just that deep exhale after getting through something difficult.
Yeah, I can picture that.
It's a toast to survival, to reverence, and its nostalgic factor, its comfort factor is incredibly high. It's definitely not a party starter, but it's maybe the fireside storyteller.
It sounds like a drink that asks you to slow down. I can almost picture someone like pen in hand by a window watching the rain.
Exactly.
Mm.
It's not for a noisy gathering. It's for those quiet moments of reckoning when you're making sense of things. It has that gravity. It represents respect, wisdom, achievement, tradition.
Mm.
It isn't impulsive. It feels earned. It teaches patience, craftsmanship, heritage. Culturally, its associations are strong, obviously Scotland.
Mhm.
But Japan and the U.S. have really embraced it too, often with their own distinct styles.
Right, Japanese whiskey is huge now.
Totally. And it has this definite autumn-winter vibe. While traditionally maybe upper middle to elite, it's become much more accessible globally now. You see it at Burns Night, New Year's, graduations, promotions.
And who's drinking it now? Still that older demographic.
It still appeals strongly to the, say, 30-plus crowd, but there's definitely a rising trend of younger connoisseurs exploring it, getting curious.
So it's timeless then, maybe occupying this cherished niche within the broader mainstream, but really beloved by its aficionados, and it shows up everywhere in pop culture.
Oh, absolutely. A James Bond sips Macallan.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec practically worships Lagavulin.
A man of taste.
Indeed. And in Mad Men, Scotch is almost a silent character, isn't it? Symbolizing business, masculinity, introspection, it consistently marks depth, pain, gravitas in stories, often when a character is grappling with something significant.
Yeah.
And that's where its social perception comes in. It's seen as classy, intelligent, maybe slightly intimidating, like a
Right.
drink for people who sit with their feelings.
Okay.
And across generations, the meaning kind of shifts. For boomers, maybe status, Gen X, appreciating the taste, millennials, perhaps the aesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
and Gen Z is now trying to get into it, exploring through TikTok whiskey clubs and things.
Huh, interesting.
And the taste notes themselves tell a story. Oak, peat smoke, vanilla, honey, spice, maybe some sea air, fruit, leather, all ideally enjoyed at room temperature with that smooth, oily, lingering texture. Some styles offer a smoky burn, others a sweet glide.
And that brings us to its unique energetic footprint, like within the whole system we're talking about. Scotch feels undeniably calming, almost like taking a deep breath.
It is. It's reflective, emotionally anchoring. It doesn't hype you up. It grounds you. It's the drink you pour when it's time for maybe the hard conversation or just reflecting on the bigger mission.
Right.
Best time to drink it, probably late evening, after dinner, maybe by firelight, while journaling, watching the rain, or perhaps making peace with something you just can't control.
Listening to all this truly feels like Bannock's drink, no question.
Mm-hmm.
Scotch is the embodiment of, like, duty without ego, of legacy, of trust earned slowly and sipped with reverence. Bannock doesn't drink to escape, he drinks to reflect. He's not about flash, he's about follow-through.
Exactly.
Scotch holds that same anchored gravity Bannock brings to any situation, any crew. Like Bannock, it's aged, layered, and always pointing north.
Well said.
Okay, so from the quiet, contemplative nature of Scotch, let's pivot. Let's go to something that feels like it's complete opposite, almost, on the spectrum of daily rituals. Orange juice.
Yeah, quite the shift.
This seemingly simple, zesty sunshine in a glass. What does this super ubiquitous drink tell us about Bannock's more dynamic, maybe morning-focused aspects?
It's a complete shift indeed. So, while the idea of juicing citrus has been around for centuries, oranges first came from ancient China and Southeast Asia.
Right.
The modern breakfast staple really took off in the early 20th century, and it played a surprisingly vital role during World War II. The U.S. military used it to prevent scurvy in soldiers overseas.
Wow, I didn't actually know that specific connection.
Yeah, and then innovations like pasteurization made it shelf-stable, easy to ship, and, well, clever marketing did the rest, turned it into a household thing.
So initially it was about health and vitality, but it quickly evolved into this quintessential Western morning ritual. It's just inextricably tied to sunshine, childhood breakfast, boosting your immune system, that whole vibe.
Totally. You picture Saturday morning cartoons with a bowl of cereal and a tall glass of OJ. It's almost foundational to so many people's early memories.
Yeah. For sure.
And its journey shows that evolution, right? From being a luxury fruit in ancient times to this accessible bottled product in the industrial era. Mid-century America really cemented its place as the breakfast drink.
The breakfast drink.
And now it comes in every variety imaginable. Pulp-free, calcium-fortified, fresh squeezed, frozen concentrate, remember that?
Yeah.
Even cold-pressed juices now. It's constantly adapting while staying true to its core.
The core ingredients are pretty straightforward. Oranges, maybe some optional additives like vitamin C or calcium. At home, preparation is super low skill. Just squeeze it, maybe strain it.
Right.
But commercially, it's all industrial precision, done at scale, and the variations range from fresh squeezed versus store-bought, pulp or no pulp, to its classic use in, like, mimosas or tequila sunrises.
Can't forget the mimosa.
Never. And frozen OJ concentrate still has that retro charm, and its childhood ritual pairing with pancakes or breakfast sandwiches is just iconic. So what's the feeling? What does this drink evoke?
I think primarily it symbolizes optimism, youth, energy, maybe playfulness. It's a drink that genuinely doesn't take itself too seriously, yet it delivers this burst of vitality. It's a fundamental symbol of health, a comforting ritual, incredibly accessible across income levels, and just a reliable source of energy for both group meals and solo routines. Culturally, strong associations with America, Brazil, Florida, Mediterranean countries.
Year-round feel.
Yeah, year-round, though it especially feels like spring or summer maybe. It crosses all social classes, appeals to all ages, particularly kids and young adults. You find it tied to weekend brunches, Easter, summer family trips. Standard stuff.
And it's absolutely mainstream, right? Culturally iconic, timeless. I think I saw a note in our research that O.J. Simpson may have complicated the initials for a bit.
Yes, that was a thing for a while. But the drink itself quickly recovered its innocent image, I think.
Right. More importantly, it's a staple in those mom makes breakfast tropes in movies. And its ad campaigns have always kind of reflected changing cultural relationships with health and convenience.
Yeah, exactly. Its social perception is just friendly, unpretentious. It might occasionally get overshadowed by flashier health drinks, but it remains a consistent staple. It's timeless, but it has these cyclical moments of coolness, like the whole cold-pressed juice bar craze.
True.
And it's often underrated because of its sheer simplicity. Generational views differ a bit. Boomers saw it as key to a balanced breakfast. Millennials and Gen Z may be a bit more skeptical of the sugar content, but still enjoy the nostalgia or the cold-pressed versions.
And kids.
Kids still love it without hesitation, no questions asked. It's quite literally zesty sunshine in a glass. Bright, citrusy, sweet tart, best served cold, smooth, or pulpy, depending on what you like.
So how does this fit with Bannock's energy, then? It's definitely not the deep reflection of Scotch, but it still seems to offer a kind of grounding, maybe.
It really captures, I think, the renewal of morning for Bannock. It's that dependable first step. He's the leader who's up before the rest of the crew, quietly getting things ready.
Okay.
Bannock's optimism isn't naive. It feels fortified by responsibility and routine. Like OJ, he brings this burst of clarity, vitality, direction. It's energizing. But it's not chaotic. It's grounding, cleansing, inviting.
Reliable.
Totally reliable, never pretentious. It offers the comfort of consistency.
Primarily a morning drink, obviously, but good anytime you need that dependable energy boost. And for Bannock, this resonates deeply. It aligns with his morning leader energy, his quiet caretaker role, that sunrise symbolism. Like orange juice, he kind of starts the day for others, even when they don't notice. He's the reason breakfast gets made, the reason the team leaves port on time, the reason the lights come on at all.
Exactly. It's that foundational energy.
Okay, now for our final deep dive. Let's turn to Mauby. This is a really fascinating choice because it's lesser known, certainly outside the Caribbean, but equally significant, and often described as an acquired taste. What does Mauby tell us about Bannock's quiet wisdom and resilience?
Mauby is truly special, yeah. It originates from the Caribbean, and it traces its roots way back to West African and indigenous traditions of using bark-based brews, often for medicinal and ceremonial purposes.
Okay.
The core ingredient is Mauby bark, from the Colubrina genus, often paired with a whole array of spices. It really began as a homemade fermented tonic, a tradition passed down through generations, serving as both a daily refresher and sometimes a ceremonial drink.
So the note said, Mauby wasn't made to entertain, it was made to heal. What were its original purposes?
That's really its essence. Historically, people drank it to cool the body, maybe reduce inflammation, aid digestion. It's deeply associated with themes of resilience, cleansing, community sharing. Very common in places like Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Jamaica, the Bahamas. You'd often find it sold by street vendors or shared at community tables. It symbolized this quiet communal form of care. And its evolution is quite telling, too.
How so?
Well, it went from that traditional home-brewed fermented tonic, then it got blended with some European spices during the colonial era. And today, you find it sold commercially in bottles or syrups, both fermented and non-fermented styles.
Interesting. Is it still popular?
While some might still see it as, quote, an old folks drink, it's actually quietly making a comeback. Herbalists, health-conscious folks, and nostalgic youth are drawn to its natural benefits and its roots.
So the core ingredients for this unique brew are the malby bark, which is described as bittersweet and aromatic sugar, spices like aniseed, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, maybe orange peel, and water. And yeast is optional for fermentation.
Correct. And the preparation sounds almost ritualistic, as you said.
How's it made?
It involves boiling the bark and spices, adding sugar, letting it cool, and then potentially a slight fermentation for a few days before straining and serving it chilled. The skill level is, well, low to moderate, but what's crucial is the timing, the quality of the bark, and that delicate balance of spices.
Ah.
It's kind of like tea meets alchemy, where just a slight adjustment can change everything. And there are variations. The fermented style has a slightly alcoholic tang, others are non-fermented. While cold mauby is common, some elders steep it longer and serve it at room temp, believing it enhances its properties. And there are traditions too. Some households make it on Fridays, tied to purification. Vendors often guard these secret spice ratios that have been handed down for generations.
The symbolism here feels really rich. It's got that undeniable bittersweet balance. I like that line. Life isn't always sweet, and neither is mauby.
It's perfect, isn't it? It symbolizes maturity, definitely an acquired taste, often disliked by kids, but loved by the wise, perhaps. It's comforting in its honesty, grounding without pandering. The nostalgic factor is high grandparents, long afternoons, backyard shade. Fun factor, probably low. But the depth factor, through the roof.
Yeah, I get that. So its social role is really one of healing and ritual in a glass.
Exactly. It speaks to themes of endurance, quiet power, natural resilience. It reflects a value of not rushing things. Malby takes time, both to brew and to truly appreciate. Culturally, it's intrinsically tied to the Caribbean and Afro-Caribbean diasporas.
Right.
It feels like summer for its cooling properties, but maybe emotionally resonates more with autumn. It has deep folk roots, often associated with the working class, herbalists. It definitely appeals to elders, with youth having quite mixed reactions. You'll find it at family gatherings, Sundays, community rituals.
So mainstream in the Caribbean, but pretty niche elsewhere, though maybe gaining popularity in that global herbal drink movement.
That sums it up well. It doesn't have massive global stories or big cinematic moments, but its presence is deeply felt in Caribbean literature, family memories, ancestral oral traditions. It's the kind of drink that shows up quietly but meaningfully in stories, like maybe a reconciliation over something bitter and complex.
That's a great way to put it. And the social perception.
Wise, old school. There's apparently a saying, only real ones drink mauby.
Huh.
There's a strong love-hate divide with it, rarely an in-between feeling. It's a symbol of cultural pride, stubborn resilience. What stands out is its timelessness and its home culture. It's underrated outside, and it's never overhyped because it kind of demands respect.
And how does that play out across generations or cultures?
Well, intergenerationally, elders deeply respect it as tradition, youth. Mixed views, some find it too strong. Others embrace it as ancestral magic. Outsiders often misunderstand it, find it maybe too bitter, but curiosity about its unique properties is definitely growing.
And the taste itself?
Best served cold. It has this unique profile. Definitely bitter up front, but then a sweet aftertaste. Complex. Almost like root beer, but without the sugar rush, maybe.
Yeah.
The texture is thin but aromatic, sometimes slightly gritty from the bark.
Why do you think it has such a strong love-hate divide? It sounds like it really challenges your palate.
It absolutely does.
You
It's
feel-
not an immediately gratifying taste like, say, soda. It requires presence, a willingness to sit with its bitterness before that sweetness emerges.
Okay.
And this makes its emotional and energetic tone so profound. It's calming, cleansing, fortifying. It's not indulgent. It asks you to be present with it. Its energy feels like an internal reset more than a party starter.
And the best time to drink it?
Probably afternoon or evening. After physical work, maybe spiritual practice, a heavy meal, or just when you need to ground yourself.
And for Bannock, the resonance here feels undeniable. You said earlier Bannock is mauby.
I really think so. He's steady, earthy, emotionally mature, not always easy to understand at first, maybe, but deeply nourishing once you get to know him. Like Mobby, Bannock has this acquired strength. You don't always love it right away, but when you do, it becomes almost sacred. His role as that quiet, starlight leader mirrors Mobby's quiet wisdom and resilience. You sip it not for entertainment,
Right.
but for healing, grounding, and guidance.
Wow. So connecting the dots here, these three incredibly diverse drinks, from the refined ancient scotch to the ubiquitous orange juice, and then this ancestral healing Mobby,
Yeah,
each one uniquely embodies different yet somehow complementary facets of this Bannock persona.
exactly. They really paint a full picture. His maturity and quiet wisdom, his dependable leadership that starts the day, his groundedness, that deep sense of duty, and his unwavering resilience is all there, reflected in these drinks.
It's truly fascinating how they offer this spectrum of grounding and reflection. You've got the fireside introspection of scotch, the morning clarity of orange juice, and the deep healing and quiet wisdom of Mobby. It just reiterates this profound lesson, doesn't it? That seemingly simple choices, like the beverages we choose to sip, can carry immense cultural, emotional, symbolic weight. They end up reflecting our core values, even deeper personality traits we might not even realize are there.
So true.
And that really concludes our deep dive into the world of scotch, orange juice, and Mobby, and how they embody the essence of Bannock. We hope we've managed to extract some core insights for you today.
And before we go, we just want to leave you with a provocative thought, maybe something to mull over. What everyday objects or rituals in your own life, no matter how mundane they seem, might quietly reflect your core values or an important personality trait? How do those seemingly simple choices carry a deeper symbolic meaning for you? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.